The air was dry, acrid, and heavy with the stench of scorched metal. Deep in the dunes of a distant desert planet named Ralix Five, a colossal dragon lay shackled. Its once gleaming, iridescent scales were dull, its once mighty wings shredded, and its golden eyes dimmed with despair. The creature, named Kaeltherion, was one of the last of its kind, captured by the Drexorians, an advanced alien race known for their ruthless exploitation of weaker species. Kaeltherion's crime? It was merely a guardian of its world, defending its ancient home against Drexorian mining ships. Now, it was a prisoner, bound by energy chains that siphoned its strength and exposed to the unrelenting sun. For days, the Drexorians had drained the dragon's life force to power their weaponry, leaving Kaeltherion on the verge of death. But even in the face of such torment, the dragon's thoughts lingered on hope, not for itself, but for the safety of its world. Enter the human. Not far from the Drexorian encampment, Rhea Vale, a young human explorer from Earth, crouched behind a cluster of jagged rocks. She had crash-landed on Ralix Five 2 days earlier after her ship was struck by an unidentified energy blast. Her supplies were limited, but her determination was endless. Rhea had always been drawn to the stars in search of wonder and adventure, but she hadn't expected to find a tortured dragon at the hands of hostile aliens. Through her binoculars, she observed the massive creature chained in the center of the Drexorian base. Despite its battered state, there was a spark of intelligence and defiance in its golden eyes. "I can't just leave it to die," Rhea whispered to herself. She knew she was hopelessly outnumbered. There were at least 24 Drexorian guards, all armed with plasma rifles and drones. But she had one advantage. They didn't know she was there. The plan. Rhea spent the next few hours scavenging parts from her damaged ship to build a makeshift EMP device. If she could disable the Drexorians' energy field generator, it would temporarily short-circuit their weapons and the dragon's chains. But even with the generator down, freeing Kaeltherion would be risky. As night fell, Rhea crept into the encampment, her heart pounding like a war drum. She skirted the edges of the base, avoiding patrols and automated sentries. Finally, she reached the generator, a towering structure that hummed with ominous power. "Here goes nothing," she muttered, setting the EMP device in place. She pressed a button and ran. A pulse of blue energy rippled through the camp, causing the lights to flicker and alarms to blare. The dragon's freedom. Kaeltherion's chains sparked and shattered as the energy field collapsed. The dragon roared, a sound that shook the desert and sent Drexorian guards scattering in panic. But Kaeltherion was weak, too weak to fight or flee on its own. Rhea sprinted toward the dragon, dodging plasma fire. "Hey, big guy," she shouted, waving her arms to get Kaeltherion's attention. "I'm here to help." The dragon lowered its massive head, peering at her with suspicion and pain. Rhea pulled a small container of water from her pack and held it up. "Drink this. You need strength to get out of here." Kaeltherion hesitated, then opened its jaws. Rhea poured the water into the dragon's mouth. It wasn't much, but it was enough to spark a flicker of energy in the beast. "Can you fly?" she asked. The dragon gave a weary nod and spread its tattered wings. Rhea climbed onto its back, holding tight to a jagged scale as Kaeltherion launched into the sky. The escape. Drexorian ships scrambled to pursue them, firing plasma bolts that streaked across the night sky. Kaeltherion dodged and weaved, but its wounds slowed it down. "Hang on," Rhea shouted, pulling a small device from her belt. It was a flare, one of the few tools she had left. She ignited it and hurled it toward the pursuing ships. The sudden burst of light confused the Drexorian sensors, causing their ships to collide in a fiery explosion. Kaeltherion roared triumphantly, but their victory was short-lived. The dragon's strength was fading fast, and they were still deep in hostile territory. A bond forged in fire. As they landed in a hidden canyon, Rhea slid off Kaeltherion's back and collapsed beside him. She looked up at the dragon, her eyes brimming with determination. "You saved my life back there," the dragon rumbled, its voice deep and resonant. "And you saved mine," Rhea replied. "But we're not done yet. I'll get you water, food, whatever you need. You're not dying here." Kaeltherion gazed at her with newfound respect. "We are bonded now, human. My strength is yours, and together we will make the Drexorians pay for what they have done." The beginning of a revolution. Over the following weeks, Rhea and Kaeltherion became an unstoppable duo. Rhea's ingenuity and Kaeltherion's raw power inspired a rebellion among the enslaved species of Ralix Five. Together, they turned the tide against the Drexorian oppressors, not just freeing the planet, but forging an alliance of creatures from across the stars. The dragon was no longer dying, and the human was no longer alone. Their bond became a legend, a testament to courage, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of those who refuse to surrender to tyranny.